Good morning today, Your Honor.
Good morning.
I want to start out by thanking you for giving us a fair trial. I want to thank the jurors for the amount of time that they put in to judge this trial. This time being on this trial, I was able to see how the jurors are put in a tough position to, sit there and judge someone's life, and, it's a hard decision, and I felt like they made the wrong judgment.
In a courtroom packed with victims, prosecutors, and headline-seeking cameras, an Atlanta jury delivered a verdict that sent shockwaves through the music world. Rapper Cashin Out, born John Michael Gibson, once known for his hit Cashin Out, has been convicted on RICO and trafficking charges, alongside his mother Linda Mama Cash Smith and cousin Tyrone Taylor. Welcome back to Parke Jones. The music industry is known as a breeding ground for predators, and in this story, we're breaking down how a career once defined by platinum records ended with a sentence of life in prison. Cashin Out rose to fame in 2012 with his platinum hit Cashin Out. The one-hit wonder was born in Columbus, Georgia, and firmly cemented himself in Atlanta's hip-hop scene. To some, he personified success, record deals, flashing lights, and the swagger of a Southern rap icon. But behind the music and public persona lay an undercurrent of violence and opportunism. We first gotta take it back to 2018 and talk about a man named Torres, who was arrested after he brutally violated a young woman who was being trafficked.
Deputy District Attorney Ernell Winfrey says Torres, whose statement to an Atlanta police detective was played in open court, cruised an online site to find sex for money in 2018 and negotiated a price via text with an alleged pimp that he didn't even have money in his bank account or wallet to pay. But he will pay a price now, following his conviction Monday for trafficking a person for sexual servitude, aggravated assault, strangulation. He was a convicted felon.
That is correct.
For?
Strangulation.
And false imprisonment.
Dragged her to the back of the house, put her in a chokehold, put a gun to her head, and her.
This woman was able to escape and contacted 911, and through further investigation, it was found that she was being trafficked by Cashin Out.
Ms. Winfrey says the then 20-year-old victim, who called 911, was being trafficked for sex. Allegedly by John Michael Gibson, a successful musical artist who performed under the name Cashin Out as seen on YouTube, until he was locked up. She says he was indicted in the same case as Drain, but is yet to go to trial. He's pled not guilty.
He has.
Related charges.
Yes, he has.
Has he denied involvement in this incident in particular?
He has denied any culpability at this point to the indictment.
Ms. Winfrey says at trial the victim testified Cashin Out basically told her if she called police about the attack, she was to leave his name out and say she and the attacker had met at a club. Prosecutor Winfrey says body cam video of the victim's outcry to Atlanta police officer Pete Cunningham, who responded after the 911 call, was played in court too.
Torres would later be sentenced to life in prison plus 30 years, which is nearly unheard of for John, but it sent a clear message.
Judge Melanie Lethbridge was the judge in the case, and she sentenced Mr. Drain to life plus 30 years to serve.
I do not know of another time that a John, as people would like to say, ever got a life sentence, but he earned it, and now he has it.
In June 2019, authorities raided a Gwinnett County hotel, arresting Cashin Out during what investigators describe as a prostitution sting.
In a lengthy sex trafficking RICO case involving an Atlanta rapper, jurors learn more about a Fulton County house tied to allegations of on Thursday, Fulton County police detectives who executed a search warrant on a home of rapper Cashin Out testified about raiding the house on Alfred Road. Cashin Out, whose real name is John Michael Gibson, is accused of using that residence for Gibson is facing multiple charges, including sex trafficking.
A 41-count federal indictment accused him, his mother, and a cousin of using their record label Pyrez Music Group as a front for multi-year trafficking and RICO enterprise. Prosecutors labeled it as more than pimping. It was a reign of terror built on coercion, deception, and force.
The latest testimony claimed that prior to the raid, one of the alleged victims told detectives about her situation after she was initially stopped for public indecency near Fulton Industrial Boulevard in 2019. She allegedly told police about the home. A detective testified the alleged victim also shared her social worker's contact information, and the detective claimed she and that social worker kept in contact about the alleged victim's whereabouts until before the raid.
Over 7 weeks, jurors heard from alleged victims, law enforcement, and financial record analysis. Texts showed family coordinating payouts and paying off victims. One victim even said that they would pay her in food.
A woman took the stand in the sex trafficking trial of Atlanta rapper Cashin Out. She says she was in a relationship with the rapper, whose real name is John Michael Gibson, and is listed in an indictment along with Gibson and several others facing prostitution-related charges. On Monday, she testified Gibson secluded her from loved ones while living in a Midtown condo together. The woman testified the rapper had her drive around women who were allegedly doing sex work for him, as well as collect money from those women.
I had to go to a hotel, which was the same female I picked up before. I had to go to the hotel and get the money, and there was nothing. She just opened the door and passed me the money, and then I had to take it to him. He just said she had something for me, so I went and got it and took it to him.
You have to remember that the Fulton County District Attorney's Office still has egg on their face from the YSL RICO trial. And this was the longest criminal trial in Georgia, which was pretty much a nothing burger. And honestly, the trial was pretty entertaining thanks to YSL Woody.
Kenneth Copeland.
Mr. Copeland, do me a favor, pull your chair up as close as you can to the microphone and speak directly into it so we can all hear you. So if you could state and spell your first and last name for the record, please.
Kenneth Copeland.
Spell it, please.
KennethCopeland.
Thank you, sir. All right.
And Mr. Copeland, good afternoon. Do you want to be here?
Ma'am?
Do you want to be here?
I'm here.
Okay. Well, are you going to let me ask you some questions?
Okay.
How old are you?
Grown.
Okay, what does grown mean?
I'm an adult.
Okay. And when you say you're an adult, what number in years are you?
I plead the fifth.
Ladies and gentlemen, can I get you to step outside to your headquarters of jury deliberation, please? All right, ladies and gentlemen, please be seated. Our jury has left us. Mr. Copeland, given the fact that you have invoked your Fifth Amendment privilege, but the state has already given you immunity under 24-5-507, this court holds you in willful contempt, and we'll see you on Monday. And we'll see if we can get some more testimony at that point in time. Take them into custody.
Anyways, with the embarrassment of the YSL RICO trial behind them, prosecutors were sure to dot their I's and cross their T's. They left no stone untouched. Cell phone data and payment receipts trace patterns of control and coercion. One victim stated she was only given food as payment, highlighting the emotional and financial manipulation at play.
The bank statements revealed a number of transactions. On the adult site back page, the investigator testified he found it unusual to see multiple large deposits of money back to back at a single bank.
What were those deposit amounts?
500, 500, 900, 600, 600.
Prosecutors laid out a money trail for jurors.
3 check card purchases at Backpage.com.
Alleging Atlanta rapper Cashin Out, whose given name is John Gibson, and his mother, Linda Smith, had an enterprise profiting from prostitution.
For this Cash App account, what's the display name?
Linda Smith, Mama Cash.
An investigator shared his findings from bank statements connected to at least 4 different bank accounts spanning from 2013 to 2022.
Cashin Out's defense centered on separation between his music career and the alleged enterprise, insisting none of the illicit activity was linked to his label. His mother's attorneys argued she was unaware of any trafficking scheme. But the jury disagreed, pointing to receipts, property leases, and witness testimony featuring Cash Out's mother as a participant, not a bystander.
The defense argued against presenting those documents and maintains Gibson didn't force women into sex trafficking.
My concern, obviously, and my objection on the record would be that these are hearsay, that they're simply allegations, they're pleadings, and they're not final judgments. So for those reasons, Your Honor, I would object to these documents.
Okay. It's relevant as to showing the outflow of money from Kiera Adams' bank account and used to benefit Linda Smith here, who's the at least registered lessee of this location.
On July 18, 2025, the jury found Cash Out, his mother, and cousin all guilty on several charges. Prosecutor Ernell Winfrey described it as a prolonged violent operation, force and coercion, not mere pimping. Cash Out respectfully told the judge that he did not agree with the verdict and said the witnesses in the trial were unreliable.
I've done things in my life, I'm not perfect. But the things I've been accused of, I know that I haven't done those things. I know it's typical for a person to come up here and, show remorse to, crimes that they have done, but I can only show remorse to the people that I know that was in this trial, which is Kiera Adams, Deanna Sanders, and Jasmine Brown. Not remorse on behalf of I did anything to them, because if you know me, and people who really know me know that I wouldn't force anybody to do anything. I met women, I dated women who were doing escort or whatever, however people want to look at it from a moral standpoint, but who was doing these things as a grown woman. I've only dealt with grown women. Nothing was forced. Nothing was coerced or anything of that nature. I get the situations that people are put in when they're faced with a certain type of crime or a certain type of time, and they're bullied into this situation to put the blame on someone, or to put the blame on Cash Out, or to put the blame on someone who's at the top. That's why I didn't really fault them for their decision. I didn't fault Deanna Sanders for making her decision during a proffer. She just had a child. Mind you, she was just on video call with me while being incarcerated. I don't fault Kiera Adams for doing the things she did with her proffer, because mind you, she was facing a certain amount of time handling her probation in different cases that she's on. I don't fault people for making accusations, because I'm a man that typically let women leave on their own behalf.
Meanwhile, his mother went on this odd tangent about God. Now, isn't it interesting how some people always seem to find God behind bars?
Not a day, ever since I turned myself in, I was always prayerful for the victims. I take accountability. I pray for them continuously. I pray for the district attorney's office. I pray for you, Judge, because that's what God requires me to do. And that's what I truly feel in my heart, because I love God so much, and I'm so full of joy. That Friday, when the verdict came in, I wasn't angry at all. Not at all. I almost thought something was wrong with me. So that Saturday, the night before, let me back up. I talked to God like I always do. And he said, I must give my testimony to the young ladies in New Beginnings. And I said, Father God, I don't want to put my business out there. That's my business. But Father God said, your business is my business. And my agenda is your agenda.
A RICO conviction implies organized, linked criminal conduct. Historically, this has been reserved for mobsters, but in recent history, quite a few rappers like Young Thug and Diddy have been hit with RICOs too. Prosecutors showed how Pyrez Music Group served as the hub: communications, financial transfers, logistics, and cover. On July 21, 2025, the judge in Fulton County handed down a dramatic and sweeping sentence. Cash Out received 2 life terms plus 70 additional years, while his mother, Linda Mama Cash Smith, was sentenced to 30 years behind bars. His cousin Tyrone Taylor also received life terms and decades more for his role in the enterprise.
A rapper known as Cash Out will spend the rest of his life in prison.
That's right. So after a jury convicted him of trafficking, keeping a place of prostitution, and a whole lot more, 11 Alive's Grace King joins us live from the newsroom. And Grace, you were in the courtroom as all that drama unfolded. What stood out to you?
Well, Ron, I cover a lot of court, and typically if a defendant talks during sentencing, they'll show remorse or ask for leniency. Cash Out didn't do any of that and instead claimed the victims who came forward were bullied into doing so.
On Monday, John Michael Gibson took the mic one final time, not as the well-known rapper Cash Out, rather as a convicted felon fighting for a chance at freedom.
You know you can be falsely accused of things Jesus was falsely accused of. One day, the truth will come out that these things never happened.
This case sends a message. Fame and money don't create immunity. Just as racketeering laws have struck down hip-hop moguls before, this conviction challenges the culture that glorifies pimping. It also shifts how fans and critics view rap success as possibly entangled with deep exploitation. For survivors, this verdict offers validation and a voice. One victim said that having a public trial helped her heal, and hearing the verdict reinforced that she was believed, supported, and seen. If you want to support the work we do here on the channel, take a moment to comment, like, subscribe, and check out the videos on the screen. I'm your host, Parke Jones, and I'll catch you on the next one.